Yo, I'm Ryan. You're
Tim,
listening to the Royal Rant, where we talk about the Kings. Yay!
goody.
Quick game reaction. Kings lose 5-2 against Colorado Avalanche. Those guys only have 2 regulation losses on the whole season. It's almost January. Game time reaction from Tim.
Kind of what I expected, right? Played well in spots, hung in there a while, but I mean, it's a simple thing. They can't really score goals, and who are scoring goals are their fourth line dudes. So
Well, they got a shorty from Joel Armia, the shorty king.
that was so awesome, going behind his own net, just ripping through center ice and burying that. And he made Makar look like a chump. So that was pretty cool.
And, yeah, I guess they were sort of in it. It kind of looked like the Avs were just like still full of Christmas turkey or something. They didn't look like themselves. But that's just the thing with this Kings team. It's like the Avs at like 60% is still, they've got plenty to beat the Kings. That's what we're dealing with.
I mean, that's the thing. They're so good, and the Kings are so mediocre. If you even want to say mediocre.
I was thinking about like, it's almost the halfway, and what can you say about these guys other than they're just like, really mid.
Yeah.
And like a fringe playoff team, and fringe in the sense that they're just lucky that the teams behind them just, they've got some games in hand on some of those teams. But, if they're just a week of games, if they have a bad stretch, they can easily fall out of that wild card,
Yeah. And they have a bunch of tough games.
And that seems to be what the organization and the people that follow this team are like, well, they are. Why would they blow everything up? They're in the playoffs. It's like,
I can't remember. I think maybe
I got into Cal State San Bernardino. I'm in college. It's like, yeah, you're in college, but it's not. That's kind of the way I feel about these apologists for the Kings that are like, well, they're still a playoff team. I know, but like by the skin of teeth.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I said it on the last podcast, but I'll say it again. It's like, I think the worst thing that could happen to this team is to just squeak in the playoffs, get smoked by whoever, and then nothing changes. Like there needs to be just a whole top down, scrap up of this thing. And that's the other thing too, right? It's like, I don't understand. It just baffles my mind why, against the Ducks. And even they started out that way against Seattle. They came out skating hard, finishing checks. And then just, I don't know, after 5 minutes, we're just like, go back to like this passionless, zero effort hockey. And then, they turned it up against Anaheim. And I don't understand, like, something's like rotten. Like, yeah, the coaching staff sucks and they should go, right? They shouldn't have been brought back.
Well, there's something I was going to ask you. Do you think that that's part of why, like, Danault asked for a trade?
Absolutely.
And the fact that he was unhappy, was that causing like a funk?
I was thinking that. That's what I was thinking. And I was thinking that, and I wonder if, maybe since that's done with, maybe they can actually turn this around. But like I said, they didn't play all that bad tonight. They're just, this team's never going to be able to compete against Colorado. No way. I mean, most teams are going to get shellacked by Colorado. They're just unbelievable right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes beyond Colorado. It's like,
yeah, but exactly.
Who could they possibly beat? I mean, are they going to beat the Oilers? But we've seen that that's not. And are they going to beat Vegas? Are they going to beat Dallas, Colorado? I mean, it's just, and you know what drives me nuts? Listening to some other podcasts, I heard somebody say, well, the Kings are never going to score goals. And I'm just like tearing my hair out thinking, why? Why do you just accept that? Like, and I know we bring up the Dodgers on this podcast a lot because they're the baseball counterpart in LA to the Kings, but it's like they can lead the entire major leagues in runs, and they're still looking in the off season to get better. You know what I mean? And it's like you have this chronic deficiency of like, you can't score. And then everybody's just like, well, they'll never score. It's like, well, why do you,
I know.
why do we even bother coming out and having a season? It's like, isn't that why there's management to address issues in a team and a structure and be like, well, why is it that we can't score? It's like, you know, it just drives me nuts. And it's the biggest cop out and it's unfair to the fans. And then when these same fans are like, you know what? We need to burn this down and just do something completely different. They're always, you know, people are always like, oh, you're hysterical and you're not a good Kings fan and all this stuff. And it's just like, come on, man.
No, I am. And it
It
almost
just,
becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where they're just like, yeah, we can't score. So let's not even try. Like let's have 3 shots on goal, It's
I
a
mean, like,
period.
you know,
It's insane.
franchise operates like that. Or what
Yeah,
team
and I
around the
don't
league is like, I mean, the idea
and
of
that
like, well, we can't bring in scores and we can't improve our offense, so we just have to hold on and be defensive for 60 minutes and just if it's if everything goes perfectly right, we can maybe win 2-1. I mean, why is that an acceptable outcome, you know?
I don't know why they've stuck with that for so long. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. Who's like, because it's not just Hiller. It wasn't just McClellan. I mean, Sutter, yeah, that was like a different thing. I mean, still, wasn't a high scoring team, but they were aggressive. But this like really passive, just like you said, all conditions have to be just perfect for us to squeak out a 2-1 win. It's just like it doesn't work. And I don't know why they haven't figured that out. And I also don't know who's like implementing this. Where does it come from? Is it because Kopitar is so, defensive minded and that's how they like to want to structure the team? I really don't get it.
Dude, I don't know. It's like the great mystery and Kings fans, we just put up with this year after year. And that's the other thing that chaps my hide about that argument. It's like we're never going to be scorers. It's like look, there were a couple of seasons ago where they weren't that bad
Yeah.
offensively, and it still wasn't good enough to win a round of the playoffs.
Well, think about the last year. They weren't having nearly as big a problem scoring as they are now.
Yeah,
So
last year they went into that series with Oilers. Their power play was clicking,
Mhm,
and that's there seemed, I had some hope that they could do something.
mhm.
And so you're sitting there and you just get that vibe. You're like, well, let's see. I'm watching this game. It's not a blowout. If things go perfectly, the Kings could maybe tie this up and steal a point or whatever. But is that really how you want to, just kind of go forward with the team? Like, well, if we have 60 minutes of perfect hockey, maybe we can lose in overtime. It's just maddening, man.
Yeah, and it's horrible to
All
watch
you
too.
can do is laugh about it, but it does, at some point you're just like, I'm tired of these apologists, that try
Yeah,
to sugar this and act
yeah,
like that's part of the process and there's this and there's that. And it's just like, here's the bottom line. You got a bunch of defensemen that can't skate, can't move the puck,
no,
can't
I
break,
get it.
can't and so it just has a repercussion on the whole team. And then when you also have guys that just aren't finishing, it's not it's not just because the D can't break out and start offense. It's also because you have these guys that just cannot score. And it
No,
was nice to see them throttle the Ducks. And it was nice to see Laferriere get his hat trick. That was awesome. And he deserves it because he's one of the lone bright spots. He's like a guy that you like to watch him because he plays with some grit. He finishes checks. He has some speed. He has some hands. He can finish chances. He's one of the rare guys that has that right now going for the
yeah,
Kings. He's already
yeah.
got a double goals to Byfield.
Oh yeah, he's a bright spot, and I'm much more hopeful about him than Byfield or I really am.
And the thing that's sad for the Kings is like even with him, it's like, he's not like a top line. He's probably not like a top line forward in reality. He would be a nice piece to have on a team that had some real dogs, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
If you have him on a contender around the league, he's probably a third line guy, right?
Mhm.
But on the Kings, God, they got to throw him up in the first line sometimes because just nothing is happening offensively. And speaking of that, I think do we not need to talk about Fogel? I mean, his game has just fallen off the face of the earth.
I know it sucks.
And I don't hear anything about it in the media or anything. And I'm not sure why he's getting a pass. I mean, it's true. He had a really good season last year, and he looked like one of the best free agent signings,
And he had a good
and
season the previous year in Edmonton.
And he is just, I mean, he's not anywhere near what he did last year. And that's part of the reason why, their goals for are so low. Not all on him, but there's Byfield
No,
with only 4 goals.
I think that's the reason why, is because if you single out Fogel, which he's been bad. Byfield's bad, Kuzmenko's been bad, Moore's been bad. I mean, he had one the other night in Anaheim, but there's a lot of dudes on this team who, just like you said, can't finish. So I don't know. And he was a bright spot too last year, and he's a physical guy, and he finishes checks like. He had that one on McKinnon tonight. He's like one of the only guys on this team who would do stuff like that. But yeah, I don't. He's totally snake bitten, and that's the other thing too about they've been talking about the last few seasons about bringing in guys with grit and can be more physical and like stir things up or get under team skin, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter who they bring in, it doesn't happen. So I'm just like, what's with this team that won't stick up for each other, won't get into scrums at the whistle, rarely, you know, your best player, your goalie, gets concussed and you don't do anything about it? I mean, it's just, I don't
No,
know.
that still makes me mad that Kemper run like that and nothing happened.
And we talked about that, texting back and forth. Like, can you imagine if someone did that to Quick a few years ago? I mean, it all hell would have broken loose. And if Quick could have, he would have got up and went after Ratton himself. It's just like this team has
He would.
no
He
guts.
absolutely would.
And I
Yes,
don't know why.
I saw something about. I didn't verify it, but it looks like his save percentage is like 930.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And you see, there was a couple of weeks ago. I think they were playing Detroit. The Rangers were playing Detroit, and he shot. I can't remember who it was. Shot the puck into the net at the final whistle, and Quick went after him. See, that's the dude. That's the type of guy you want on your team.
He's such a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
just like a once in a lifetime guy. I mean, the Kings they'll never have a goalie like that ever again, probably.
Mm.
I mean, I hope so, but just an all time dog, But it's tough. It's a slog, man. I mean, some of these last couple of games have been a little easier to watch.
Mhm.
They have kind of picked up a little physicality. I don't want to give them full marks for that because
No.
they're so weak, but like a little bit better. Scored a couple power play goals, which seems like a miracle.
Mhm.
But yeah, especially when you feel like probably no matter how this season plays out, like probably just nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they'll just stick with Hiller, right?
I was thinking, well, I was like, well, they're not going to fire him during the Christmas break. That would be pretty jacked up, even though I think they should have. I don't think they should have brought him back, but I mean, that's pretty jacked up to fire him during the Christmas break. I don't know. I think if they keep doing this, you know, if they hit another slump, then yeah, I'm sure they'll fire him. But if they're doing this where
I'm not even sure. I guess maybe if they have a stretch in January, kind of like that they did.
in December, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's yeah, but I'm not. I'm with you too. I'm not exactly sure because I honestly they probably would have done it by now if they really are serious and they really want to compete. I don't think they're serious. I think they just
yeah.
pay a
I
lot of
don't know.
respect to their
It's so
fans.
interesting to just see like what kind of conversations did they have in that front office? Like,
Yeah,
what do they expect to happen? I guess maybe they tell themselves that when you look at the stats in terms of like expected goals, the Kings are better than what they've actually scored in goals, and that maybe the puck will start going in the right direction at some point, which I guess could happen. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what kind of trade they could swing.
that's the other
And
thing. It's like
losing Dano, it does hurt them because it just takes
it,
out, a center that was plugged in, supposed to be there for 6 years.
as horribly
I'm sure that
as
a lot of
horrible as
fans are mad about that. Like, I mean, I guess he did kind of bail on the team when you asked for a trade like that. But
it's true, but I really don't blame him. I really don't. It's because I don't. I think he knows like this team's not serious about winning. They really aren't, and I'm sure he doesn't like the coaching staff. And as horrible as he's been offensively, this year he's so good defensively, and he was so good in the playoffs last year. I mean, it sucks to lose him, but if he's not playing well, or if he's not going to be, it doesn't want to be there. I don't blame him. Like I could see where people would be mad, but I don't blame it at all. It kind of makes me think like, I wonder why, like, I was thinking like, why Kempe, like, why that contract took so long to get done and then to get him for so cheap. I was like, I wonder if he was just like, well, I'm going to test free agency because like, I don't want to be here. And then I don't know, but it's just, I don't know. There's something funky about this team. There's something odious. It's like they can't get people to come there, right? They can't get, it sounds like too, like Marchand, he was just like, nope, I'm not going to come. Like, last year. It sounds like that maybe they were close to getting him and he was just like, nope. So you gotta think like, why don't top guys want to play here? Like,
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it can't just be because of the state income tax, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm
I
sure,
mean,
I'm sure the income tax up in Edmonton is probably pretty steep.
yeah, I just think that I think the other teams in the league, just the other players, they just kind of have the Kings number, and they're just like, these guys are boring. I don't
Mhm,
like their system. I don't like the system they play.
mhm,
They're not really contenders. So
mhm.
if I'm old like Marchand or whatever, or even like, I wonder if that was part of Dano's thing. He's like, well, I'm not getting any younger, and I actually want to be.
That's what,
I
and
want
he
to go
wants to go
maybe actually win. Which I mean, I would say right now the Canadians have a better chance of winning than the Kings do.
have a better chance of getting out of the first round for sure.
I mean, it's still kind of uncool to bail on your team, but then again, we don't really know like what
Did you see
what
he
the,
said,
what went on in the locker room and stuff.
I hope I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but I hope he gives an like a real interview, even someday. But he was talking about like, he just felt like he wasn't useful there at all. And like,
Mhm.
he, he was just, it wasn't happening. So, but I kind of feel like, that's kind of what happened with PLD. It's kind of the same thing, third line dude. I think they just try to turn him into a total like shutdown, like, don't try to score. I mean, I'm being, I'm joking, but you know what I mean? I think they try to
Well,
limit everybody
trying to
so
make,
much, and
and
that's
that's
why these
the
guys
other
can't
thing,
finish.
like, but trying to make a guy into something that he's not. That's a
Yeah,
classic thing. They do with Byfield. It's like, well, he's big. It's like he is big, but he's never going to hit guys.
no, he
So,
doesn't have that mentality at
and
all.
he
It's not
doesn't
it.
want to hang around the net. He likes to be on the perimeter, and he's not a shoot first guy. He's always looking to pass to the point where it's
Mhm.
so obvious he's going to pass that everyone in the building is like, check it out. He's going to pass.
Mhm.
And
For
the same
sure.
thing with people who's like, oh, if only he would hit. Well, he doesn't hit either.
Mhm.
Isn't that what scouting is for?
Yeah, it's like,
Isn't that why you watch tape and you're like, yeah, this guy doesn't really just skate across the middle of the ice and blow guys up. It
mhm,
doesn't matter that he's 6'3", 225 or whatever. He doesn't do it.
mhm,
I feel doesn't
mhm,
do it. Laferriere does. He's not as big, but he looks to hit guys.
mhm.
It's in their DNA. It's not even like a teachable thing, I don't think. Other than the fact
Yeah.
that almost league wide, like when the playoffs start, the physicality usually ramps up and you see dudes hit guys that don't normally hit guys. But
Yeah.
it's just for kind of that short period of the playoffs where everybody's jacked up, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
But
usually like the
it's like,
first
what
round.
else do you need to see? I mean, this is what Byfield's fifth season, or it's like he's never going to be a physical presence. He's not going to line dudes up. He's never going to look to shoot first. He wants to make passing plays, and
Yeah.
that's just what he does. What am I supposed to tell you?
Yeah. He's never going to be a guy who scores 30 goals or more. No
I
way.
mean, I suppose maybe. I mean, I guess because you have 24, 25. I mean, maybe he could score 30. Obviously, he's not this season. He's had an awful year so far. Total regression. And those are the ifs that we talked about last time. Like, well, if Byfield does this, if this happens, if Kemper is as good as last year. But once again, that wasn't good enough last year either, So this is what we're talking about. We watch the games. Fans watch the games. They put down money to go in that place to watch the games. Their opinion is just as valid as anybody else's, really.
Mhm.
And you just see that gap. There's a huge gap between where the Kings are at and where Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas are at, you know? Edmonton
Yep.
start kind of like we talked about last time. They're just now starting to kind of play hockey, and they'll
Mhm.
probably be pretty good until the end, right?
Mhm.
So it's just kind of a broken record. So you're just like, well, and it's not getting any easier. They got Tampa, and then they play Minnesota twice, right? Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, and just this kind of, I guess, just the paralysis and just not. I guess that's what's frustrating for fans, just like not feeling like the people that are supposed to know the most have these blinders on and they just can't really see what they have on the ice, you know?
That's a thing that I wonder truly too. Are they just, like you said, have the blinders on? Or are they just feeding everybody a bunch of bullshit? I don't know.
Well, obviously, you can't walk up to a podium and be like, "Yeah, we have no chance to win a Stanley Cup."
No, yeah, they're not gonna say that.
So that's
Yeah.
but you could say, "Hey, look, we're not good enough right now to
Or
beat
that
some
we
of the
have
teams."
yeah, we have
You
to get better.
not
We're gonna do
yeah, it's
that.
like we have to address a lot of areas. We're not good enough to beat the real contenders in our conference, right?
Mhm,
I think people would accept that
mhm.
and be like, "Okay, well, now do something
Yeah,
about it." But it just makes it weird because even bringing in Holland, it was like, well, he probably doesn't wanna come in with, like, a rebuild mentality, but
no,
then they always doing this, we were right there." So when you
and they
have,
could
like, I come in with, my team is just right there, it makes you think, "Well, I'm not supposed to make any major moves, I guess."
and they just, they've gotten everyone's regrets in the moves they made on the blue line, during the offseason, bad. Everyone's regrets, so it's not a retool,
Yeah,
like
well, I
the
mean,
full
and
system is
those
flawed.
are directly in Holland, it's like, they should have kept Spence.
Absolutely.
He's one of he's one of the only guys that could skate and
Mm,
move the puck around. But, he's not big. That's his main crime. He's not big. But he seems to be doing just fine in Ottawa,
mhm.
because and I think that's on the organization too, is like they just are stuck with this idea that every defenseman has to be like 6'3" or whatever, and I just don't think that's the way the league is anymore.
No, you have to have, like, a mix, you know?
You probably need to have just as many puck handlers as you have, like, big oafs,
Yeah, brick
out of your
houses.
6, maybe, like, 50-50, 3 and 3, and the Kings don't have that. They've got, like, 5 pylons and Clark, you know?
I think that's the thing that's so maddening too. It's just like all the wasted seasons and just like too little, too late. It's just, and I think it's all just coming to a head now. We're gonna be like, okay, rebuild. It's like, you know, man,
I mean, they're never gonna wanna say that, but it's just kind of like
it's obvious.
it's just like the margin between, like, being under the playoff line and over the playoff line is so close, by a couple of points. It's
Yeah,
like
it's two, it's 3 or 4 points.
being the second wild card, I mean, you're almost a lottery team. I mean, you're not.
You're
You
almost
just made
Calgary.
the
No, it's like,
yeah,
who cares?
you've made the cut, but it's like, I mean, do you imagine them being the second wild card? They'd play Colorado in the first round, right?
Hmm.
And they would just be obliterated.
Yo, I could see them being swept.
Oh, they would
Yeah.
easily be swept.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they might get lucky and Kemper makes like 49 saves one night. You maybe get one, but it just I would almost rather them just not make it for once and see and then and then people hear that like, "Oh my God, you're a terrible fan." It's like, well, no, I'm not a terrible fan. I just
No, that's
we've seen 4 straight first round exits. So like, why do we want to see 5?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm not rooting for them to fail and not make the playoffs. I'm rooting for them to change, make changes so this team gets better. And it's not going to happen if they make the playoffs again and they just, get a
And it's not and it's
embarrassed
not
by whoever.
easy. It's not gonna be easy stuff. It's gonna be like, whoa, check it out. We bought out Dowdy in the offseason. We cut him loose. It's
He'll
gonna
probably be
be
like,
yeah,
he'll be like,
yeah,
yeah,
like, hey, we found a sucker. We traded Byfield for some picks.
yeah, exactly.
That kind of stuff. It's not like easy feel good stuff.
No,
But they're so terrified that he's gonna go to Toronto or someplace and score 40 goals. But I'm telling you, it's not happening.
I doubt that. No, I doubt that. I could see like LaFerriere
It
going
does
to some
not.
other place and getting like 30 maybe or something, but yeah, he
Right?
doesn't have
Does
a
not
finishing
he does
touch.
not have that ceiling. I'm sorry, man. We've seen it. We gave it a chance. It's not that he
The
can't
thing
be
too, if he does go somewhere else and go off, it's just the Kings suck. Their coaches suck. The system they play sucks, and they need to change. If that were to happen.
yeah, it would be an indictment of their whole scheme and everything because I don't know. Is there any bright spots? I guess Kopi's what, 9 points away from tying Marcel Dion?
It's just funny because like I mean, that's cool and everything, but I really don't care. But I mean, that's cool and that's King's history, and that's probably not going to be broken. But it's like,
I like that. That's cool, but I really don't care. No, I think I think there are probably other people that would admit that. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but
I'd rather not have the team play such a boring brand of hockey where they can't win games. That's like that would be cooler to see.
that would be cool. Yeah, if they actually put together a nice win streak and look like they actually did. I'm trying to think of even some good wins. I mean, they beat Winnipeg twice this year, right?
Yeah, and poor Winnipeg's like on this horrible losing streak. So I think maybe that's one game here they could pick up and beat those guys. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they're
They
not
started
really in
off.
the competition anymore in the Central because they're so stacked now with like Quinn Hughes going to Minnesota and the juggernaut that's the Avalanche and the Stars are always being good. It's just like, good Lord, give us a break. That's just like
What
division of death.
I it's, do you see I think I sent you that in like the top 10 and plus minus, and like 8 of them, or not 8, like 6 are all guys on the Avalanche. And like McKinnon's like a plus 47.
That is unbelievable.
I mean, it'd be really amazing if they didn't win. It'd have to be. You know, I looked up their two regulation losses. One was quite shocking.
I don't even know who they lost to.
They lost to Boston, like I think 3-2, and then they lost to the Islanders 6-3.
Wow. Getting pumped by the Islanders.
That's pretty funny.
And you know, it's scary. Like their power play isn't even that good yet.
Yeah, it's all just 5-on-5 badassery.
They just destroy everyone 5-on-5. But
Mhm.
imagine if they actually got their power play cooking at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be unstoppable.
And I was like, it'll be fun to watch them during playoffs instead of the Kings.
Oh man, it's such a bummer because you just want to see the Kings do well, but you just gotta call it like you see it. Just this whole vibe of just like, and they did it again tonight. 2 goals. I mean, that's kind of like their jam. And it's
Mhm.
like, who do you scoring 2 goals? I mean, let's just like put the Avalanche out of the conversation. It's like you can't win most nights in the NHL scoring 2 goals. I
Mhm.
mean, they lucked out and they beat Tampa 2-1. How many times is that going to happen? It's just this, and they just hang their hat on that. It's like, well, the Kings don't give up much. They're really stingy, and it's like, God, it's almost 2026. You just can't function like that in today's NHL,
Mhm.
and
Especially trying to compete it in the West against,
especially
Islanders and
So
Phoenix.
what
It's
they
like,
can even do, like, I don't even know. They're like, well, this will be an opportunity for Turcotte, to play center. I don't think he's going to do much, honestly.
no.
Everybody roots for that guy, with his history of injuries and concussions and stuff. But it's just like, I guess we'll see. We'll see with his ice time going up and stuff. But that doesn't really seem like a solution. They don't have anybody else. Like, Hellenius, they don't want to play him ever. So it's just like, what are they going to do for the rest of the year and even into the playoffs? Because
Yeah.
that was a problem last year, not having, like, being able to run 4 lines. And that cost them against the Oilers.
Yeah, and he's already pulling that bullshit now where he's not playing all 4 lines. So it's like those dudes are gonna be,
So
the top two lines are gonna be dog shit tired.
So even if they were to bring in like Pete DeBoer or something, it's like I don't even know what he'd be able to get out of them.
I think he could help them with scoring, but yeah, I mean it's
I mean, maybe it would just be a breath of fresh air for these guys
Mhm.
if it is true that they're tuning out hill or whatever. And I mean, they can really only go up from here because the scoring is so pathetic that you're just thinking if things just kind of move back towards the me, maybe they'll just end up scoring more goals for the rest of the way. But it's a tough slog, man. Really
Yeah.
tough.
And a few games ago, and I mean that game against Seattle and Columbus, I mean they just look like they just had, I mean, nothing like left, like just completely defeated, like no confidence. I mean, they look much better. I mean, they do. They have the last 2 games, or I mean, their confidence level and everything does look better. But I don't know. You could
Yeah,
tell
I
it's
think
a
I
team that
think they
doesn't
were
have a
trying
lot
to.
of.
I think they were kind of amped up to see what they could do against the Avs, and sure they
Mhm.
had first period was pretty good, but just not enough to beat those guys, especially in their own building.
Mhm.
But let's see. So Tampa and then Minnesota twice. You think they're gonna beat? Think they're gonna win any of these next 3 games?
No. Well, I don't
Oh,
know.
4 and 0 this
I
Avs
just
game?
I mean, well, maybe this will be like a turning point, right? Like, you know, maybe Geno was causing a problem, and maybe they'll be able to like, I don't know, get some groove going. But I don't know. Like they're just so inconsistent. You know, I mean, maybe they can get a win over Tampa, but I don't know about
I
Minnesota. I
just
just think they
wonder,
could probably
do you think I could maybe get traded to another team for the rest of the season?
you. Yeah,
I want to trade.
I want to trade too.
I'm pulling a Phil. I think I want to trade. I feel useless right now as a Kings fan. I think I need to
Me
go
too.
else.
Where are you gonna go? Where do you want to go?
I'm getting up there. Well, I wouldn't mind being traded to the Oilers.
Whoa! Join the winning side for once.
I'd like to stay on the West Coast.
It's not that big.
I might be open to a trade to the Ducks.
Whoa!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a step too far. No. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We had to just do a check-in and vent. That's what the Royal Rant is all about. If you want to vent, you can always send us an email at royalrantpodcast@gmail.com. You can rant at us on Twitter, Instagram. You can find us. We're out there. We want to hear from people. You can tell, are we being overly dramatic? Are we being bad Kings fans? Or are we just keeping it real? You can let us know what you think.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we will say, go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go!